Can you imagine having more money than you could ever spend in a lifetime? Today, we're going to meet the world's richest kids who have lived in luxury and glamour from the cradle. Let's watch it. It's fascinating. Thiago Messi. They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And certainly, the saying, like father, like son, exists for a reason. At least in this case, it's a good thing. Because this little one we're seeing here is none other than Thiago Messi, the son of football legend Lionel Messi, who has an estimated fortune of $850 million. And from what we've seen, the young boy has inherited quite a bit of his father's talent. Thiago was born on November 2, 2012, in Barcelona, and since his birth, he has been in the spotlight due to his father's fame. However, despite growing up in a world full of fame and media attention, his parents have tried to keep his life as private and normal as possible. But fame is fame. And it's pretty clear that Leo's eldest son has as much interest in football as his father does. He's been seen at several youth competitions, scoring goals left and right. Sure, he's still very young and doesn't have the advantage of experience, but just look at him. He has great potential. In fact, Lionel Messi himself has mentioned in interviews that Thiago has a more marked interest in football than his siblings and often asks about matches and results. And just look at him. He even has a playing style that somewhat resembles his father's. Of course, only time will tell if he becomes a football star. But hey, if that passion continues into adulthood, the Messi name could turn into a football dynasty. Prince George. Almost all the kids on this list were born with a silver spoon in their mouths, but this boy was literally born to be a king, none other than Prince George. As of today, George is only 11 years old, but with the passage of time, barring something extraordinary, he will become king. In addition to the British throne, Prince George will inherit several traditional titles that have been tied to the British royal family for centuries. These include the Duchy of Cornwall and the Duchy of Rothesay, which are traditionally awarded to the heir to the throne. The Duchy of Cornwall is particularly significant as it comes with a vast amount of land and property in England, all managed under the Duke's control. Legally speaking, the boy will own almost all of Wales. And of course, the future King of England will have access to an impressive inheritance of material goods, such as crown jewels, works of art, and other historical treasures that have traditionally belonged to monarchs. He has an estimated fortune of $3 billion and hasn't even finished elementary school yet. But of course, such inheritances don't come for free. Being the Prince of England means that from a very young age, George has been educated and prepared for his future role. He currently attends Lambrook School, a prestigious institution near Windsor, and his education is expected to remain of the highest level. Part of his preparation includes developing diplomatic skills, learning British history and traditions, and training for the royal duties he will one day manage. Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. Well, it looks like among Messi's kids there may be a future heir to football, but what about Cristiano Ronaldo's kids? Well, it seems that on this side of the famous football rivalry, there might also be an heir to all that talent on the field. We're talking about none other than Cristiano Ronaldo Jr., who has shown a great interest in football and has followed in his father's footsteps, playing in various youth categories and, more importantly, for clubs where his father has previously played, including Juventus and now Al Nassr. The boy has demonstrated natural talent for football, sparking comparisons to his father from a very young age. Cristiano himself has expressed in interviews his pride in his son's progress in the sport, although he has also emphasized the importance of Cristiano Jr. making his own decisions in life. But one thing is clear: the boy has inherited much of his father's work ethic and discipline. And since he's 2 years older than Messi's heir, there's already more clarity about Cristiano Jr.'s intentions to pursue a career in football. While there's still no clear figure of how much he officially has, if he inherits his father's fortune, he could end up with anywhere between $550 million and $650 million. We'll have to wait until both of them come of age, but hey, it's exciting to think that future generations might bring back the Messi-Cristiano rivalry. Princess Charlotte. Now let's talk about one of the few princesses left in the world. You see, George has a sister, Princess Charlotte of Wales, the second child of Prince William and Kate Middleton, Princess of Wales. Her full name is Charlotte Elizabeth Diana, as she was named in honor of several important family members. Her great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, her paternal grandmother, Princess Diana, and her grandfather, King Charles III. Despite her young age, Charlotte has already made several important public appearances. From a young age, she has joined her parents and siblings at official events, both in the UK and abroad, as part of royal tours. One of her first major trips was to Canada in 2016, when she was still a baby. Since then, she's been seen at events like her uncle Prince Harry's wedding to Meghan Markle in 2018 and multiple Trooping the Colour celebrations, an annual ceremony to mark the official birthday of the reigning monarch. Although she's still very young, Princess Charlotte has already shown a strong, confident personality, which has been evident in many of her public appearances. Her parents have commented that Charlotte is outgoing and determined. In fact, Prince William has sometimes mentioned that his daughter has a more bossy character than her older brother, Prince George, which has led many to affectionately call her the little boss. Additionally, according to specialized sources, she has an estimated fortune of $5 billion, stemming from future noble titles and inherited jewels. Charlotte is also the first princess in the British royal family to benefit from a change in succession law that was implemented before her birth. This change, known as the Succession to the Crown Act of 2013, ensures that gender no longer affects the order of succession to the throne, meaning Charlotte remains ahead of her younger brother, Prince Louis, in the line of succession, making her third in line after her father, Prince William, and her older brother, Prince George. This represents a significant milestone in the history of the British monarchy. As in previous generations, princesses would have been passed over in favor of their younger male siblings, regardless of their age. Who knows, maybe in the future Charlotte's strong personality will change things, and she'll end up becoming the Queen of England. But, well, those are historical events for the second half of the 21st century, and we can only speculate. Stormy Webster. You know, having famous parents is a blessing. Just ask Stormy Webster, the daughter of Kylie Jenner and rapper Travis Scott, who, since birth, has been in the public spotlight due to her parents' immense popularity. And of course, she's inherited a lifestyle that most people will never come close to experiencing. I mean, this baby has more money than you or I will see in our entire lives. And if you need proof, it's well known that Stormy's parents have spared no expense when it comes to her. In fact, she's said to have a $12,500 stroller. Wow. With that amount of money, you could buy a brand new car, but Stormy's parents chose to use it for a stroller instead. And let's not even talk about her clothes and accessories. Her wardrobe is filled with ridiculously expensive designer pieces, and she even has a baby carrier designed by none other than Gucci. We all know that having kids is expensive, but for celebrities, it's a completely different story. They're willing to spend their fortunes on their babies, and honestly, who can blame them? Parental instincts are strong, after all. Though if you ask me, it's a bit over the top. I don't think little Stormy will remember being carried around in Gucci carriers or being pushed in a $12,500 stroller. After all, what babies remember is the love of their parents, not the brand or price tag of their things. And in case you were wondering, her estimated wealth is around $700 million. Baron Trump. Being the child of a billionaire is one thing, but being the child of a billionaire who's also a highly publicized politician is a whole other story. That's exactly the fate Baron William Trump, the youngest son of Donald Trump and Melania, has to live with. He's estimated to have a fortune of around $80 million, which may seem small compared to his father's fortune, but it's already a lot for a young man to start with. Barron was born into one of the wealthiest and most powerful families in the U.S. and has lived a life of luxury from a young age, primarily residing in Trump Tower, a luxury skyscraper in Manhattan, New York, where he had his own floor and access to all imaginable comforts, a bit like Richie Rich. Over the years, Barron has kept a low profile compared to his half-siblings, who've been more involved in the family business and public life. Although he's made appearances at major events, like his father's presidential inaugurations or some White House functions, his public appearances have been limited. In fact, if you look closely at his facial expressions, he always seems super uncomfortable when interacting in public. As the son of one of America's richest real estate magnates and a former model, Barron is set to inherit not only considerable wealth, but also a vast network of global influence. As one of the heirs to this fortune, he'll have access to a significant part of this financial empire. It's still unclear what path he'll take, since, unlike his older siblings who have shown a great interest in business and politics, Baron is still at a stage where he can choose his own direction. He could follow in his father's footsteps and go into business, or explore other fields like sports or technology, areas that seem to pique his personal interest. Will he be able to escape his father's shadow? I don't know about you, but I feel like this guy is headed for something interesting. Ian Armitage. It's well known that child actors sometimes struggle later in life, so it's nice to see a child actor succeed in their career and then close that chapter without major setbacks to their mental health, like what Ian Armitage has done. Ian was born into a family with deep ties to the entertainment world. His father, Ewan Morton, is a theater actor and singer who's worked on major Broadway productions, while his mother, Lee Armitage, is a theater producer. So from a young age, Ian showed a strong interest in acting, influenced by his parents' artistic pursuits. In fact, he had several small roles in TV series, but his meteoric rise to fame came when he played the young Sheldon Cooper in the popular TV show Young Sheldon, a spin-off of the hit comedy The Big Bang Theory. And this was a turning point for his young career, as his portrayal of Sheldon was praised by critics, playing the character in a sweet, intelligent, and funny way while also adding his own personal touch. Let's not forget that this series was hugely popular, so the young man, being the star, earned more than enough money to never work another day in his life. And that's just with that one project, which made him one of the most recognizable faces on television. Of course, the show is now over, and Ian has said he's open to taking any role that comes his way in the future. But for now, he's not in any rush to keep pushing his career, at least not in the frantic way other child actors have burned out. After all, with just his early roles, he's already made around $6 million, which seems to be just the beginning of a promising career ahead. Aubrey Anderson Emmons. You know that joke about how companies now require 2 years of experience for new graduates to even consider offering an entry-level position? Well, Aubrey Anderson Emmons had 8 years of experience as an actress before graduating. And let me tell you, by that point, the young actress already had about $6 million in the bank. You see, sometimes child millionaires don't reach that status because they got lucky at birth, but because they've literally been working since they were babies, and the dividends of that work start paying off while they're still children. Like in the case of Aubrey, who's been acting since she could remember. She started acting when she was only 4 years old, joining the cast of the hugely successful comedy Modern Family in 2011, when she replaced twins Jaden and Ella Hiller, who had played Lily in the first 2 seasons as babies. From the moment she appeared on the show, she won over the audience with her sense of humor and talent, despite being so young. In fact, her character became a fan favorite because of her sharp remarks and carefree attitude. Now it's important to note that Modern Family was a massive television phenomenon, lasting 11 years from 2009 to 2020, and Aubrey played Lily for 8 seasons, from 2011 until the show ended in 2020. Over that time, her character grew from a small child to a teenager, so she literally grew up alongside her character, and much of her childhood was spent portraying that role. According to the actress, it wasn't as fun as it sounds because acting was a job, and by studio rules, if she wasn't acting, she had to take classes on set, so she had no time to rest, except maybe during lunch breaks. After Modern Family ended, Aubrey has kept a relatively low profile compared to other young actors, and even considered quitting acting for a while, though in recent years she's been thinking about returning to it. Blue Ivy Carter. If Beyoncé is called the Queen Bee, does that mean her daughter Blue Ivy is the Princess Bee? Well, we may never know. But what's certain is that Beyoncé's heir is certainly a person with an interesting life, especially since Princess Bee has a fortune estimated at over $500 million. You see, Blue Ivy Carter, born on January 7, 2012 in New York, is the first child of 2 of the most influential figures in the entertainment world, Beyoncé and Jay-Z. And of course, since her birth, she has been in the spotlight because of her parents' status. When your parents are such towering figures in the entertainment industry, there's no way around following in their footsteps. After all, Beyoncé has an entire industry of managers at her disposal, From a very young age, Blue Ivy has been part of her parents' creative projects. Just days after her birth, she made her unofficial debut when Jay-Z included her cries in the song Glory, which was dedicated to her. This unusual collaboration made her the youngest person to appear on a Billboard chart. As she grew, she began to play a more active role in major projects. In 2019, she was one of the standout voices in the song Brown Skin Girl, from the album The Lion King, The Gift, which accompanied Disney's The Lion King movie. Thanks to this collaboration, Blue Ivy won a BET Award in 2020 and, in 2021, a Grammy for Best Music Video, making her one of the youngest people ever to win this prestigious award. Although her parents have tried to protect her from the excessive media attention, Blue Ivy has grown up in an environment where fame is part of daily life. She attends major industry events like the Grammy Awards, fashion shows, and the Met Gala. She's also been a constant presence in Beyoncé and Jay-Z's public life, attending concerts and high-profile events with them. At just 12 years old, she's already on track to become a major figure in music, but if you ask me, this girl will always have to contend with whether she can ever step out from under her mother's shadow. This is the kind of story where, down the road, she'll have to ask herself if she really wants to follow her parents' path. Because whether she likes it or not, she'll always be in their shadow if she pursues this career. But anyway, those are minor concerns because with that legacy, the girl could easily do nothing for the rest of her life. I mean, she'll inherit not only the fortune her mother made through music, but also the fortune her father built through business. Northwest, there's an old saying, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But sometimes that's not always the case because apparently talent isn't always inherited. Little Northwest seems to have had a tough encounter with the reality that even if your dad is one of the biggest figures in the entertainment world, that doesn't automatically make you a star. Talent has to be cultivated. It's not enough just to have talented parents. What we're seeing here is, let's say, the lackluster performance of Northwest, the daughter of Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, who played Simba in the 30th anniversary performance of the acclaimed Lion King musical. And let me tell you, lackluster is an understatement. Unfortunately, Little North really became the laughingstock of the entertainment world. Listen to that off-key singing. And look at those movements. It's hard to tell if she's dancing or just awkwardly walking around. And if you pay attention, it's even more noticeable because the other actors are doing an excellent job and have fantastic costumes while she's there. Not so much because of her talent, but because she didn't have to compete against anyone else or audition for the role, thanks to the fact that her parents basically owned the production company that put on the 30th anniversary show of the Broadway play. Sorry, North, but that's called nepotism, and it's not exactly looked at in the best light. But really, Northwest doesn't have to worry too much. After all, at just 11 years old, she's already worth an estimated $50 million, so I guess she can forget all about the Lion King. She has more than enough money for the rest of her life. Rza. Let me introduce you to Rza. Rasa Urza. 1 second, I'll go research something real quick. Okay, apparently the name is spelled R-Z-A, but it's pronounced Riza. So let me introduce you to Rza, one of the world's most famous and wealthiest babies. He's none other than the first child of the famous singer Rihanna and rapper A$AP Rocky, one of the most influential and beloved couples in the music and entertainment industries. Rza's birth was discreetly announced by the couple, who've tried to maintain a balance between their public life and family privacy to the point that they've kept the baby's life as private as possible, except for a couple of sweet videos they've posted online. After all, every parent wants to brag about their kids at some point, and it seems that neither Rihanna nor Rocky are exceptions. Now, the unusual name refers to rapper and producer RZA, leader of the legendary Wu-Tang Clan, an icon in hip-hop culture who has influenced generations of artists, including the baby's father. Well, I can partly understand it, as both parents use stage names, but still, it's not exactly a regular name. Though still very young, the media attention surrounding him is intense because of his famous parents. Since Rihanna's pregnancy, the baby news has been a constant topic in the media. The couple made a groundbreaking pregnancy reveal while walking through Harlem, New York in early 2022, where Rihanna boldly displayed her baby bump, sparking a cultural phenomenon around her pregnancy. After his birth, Rihanna and A$AP Rocky have kept a balanced approach to exposing their son to the public. Though they've shared a few images, they've been cautious about preserving his privacy compared to other celebrities. Nevertheless, public appearances, like family events or casual outings, always stir reactions from the public and media. For now, Rza is just a baby. But thanks to his famous lineage and his mom's success in music and business, his fortune is estimated to be around $1.2 billion. That's one baby who will never know what it's like to have financial problems, and for that, we can all be happy. Valentina Paloma Pinot. When your parents are extremely famous and wealthy, but for very different reasons, the world really opens up for you, as it does for Valentina Paloma Pinot, the daughter of renowned Mexican actress Salma Hayek and French billionaire businessman François-Henri Pinault. Since her birth, Valentina has been the center of attention because of her parents' prestige and fame. But she was fortunate that they have always valued her education and privacy, to the point that her presence hasn't exploded into the media until recently. Now, this girl really has it all in life because her mother is Salma Hayek, an internationally acclaimed actress and producer. So if she wants to pursue a career in film, the doors are wide open for her. On the other hand, her father, François-Henri Pinault, is the CEO of Kering, a luxury conglomerate that owns world-renowned brands like Gucci, Saint Laurent, Balenciaga, Bottega Veneta, and many more. So if Valentina wants to enter the fashion industry, she has all the doors open there as well. And if not, well, she has all the money in the world. Seriously, thanks to her parents, the girl has an inheritance estimated at $1.9 billion, so she can really do whatever she wants in this life. In several interviews, Salma has mentioned that Valentina has a great interest in fashion and film. Being part of a family so deeply connected with the worlds of luxury and entertainment, it's not surprising that Valentina is interested in these fields. However, despite being immersed in these environments, it seems her parents are determined to let her explore her own interests and not feel pressured to follow a path determined by the fame of her family. Wow, I wouldn't mind having a life like hers. Ryan Kaji. Having too much money and too much fame at such a young age doesn't seem like a bad thing. In fact, it seems pretty awesome. But trust me, it can turn into a curse disguised as a miracle. And if you don't believe me, let's take a look at the complex and devastating story of Ryan Kaji, a young YouTuber who is increasingly becoming a victim of his own fame and success. His real name is Ryan Guan, and he's a famous child YouTuber who rose to fame thanks to his channel Ryan's Toys. He started his YouTube career in March 2015 when he was just 3 years old. And to be honest, it was mostly his parents' idea, Loan and Cheyenne, who decided to film their son while he opened and played with toys, sharing his genuine and spontaneous reactions. The videos were as simple as you can imagine, but they quickly went viral because kids around the world could relate to Ryan's natural way of being. Well, it might not be the most responsible thing in the world, but the fact is that millions of kids watch YouTube, and since the channel provided exactly what they were looking for, Ryan became one of the youngest and most successful content creators on the platform. The channel, which initially focused on toy reviews, soon expanded to include science experiments, challenges, and educational adventures. In 2019, the channel was rebranded as Ryan's World to reflect the variety of topics beyond just toys. So far, everything was going great. Ryan's World had become an empire with over 33 million subscribers on YouTube, millions of daily views, and a range of licensed products including toys, clothing, and backpacks. The boy even released video games and had his own show on Nickelodeon called Ryan's Mystery Playdate. He was on top of the world, and at one point, it was estimated that Ryan had earned around $29.5 million through his various activities. But, as my grandmother always says, the more money, the more problems, and that much of something good doesn't last forever. You see, all this toy and kid-centric empire has an expiration date. Ryan won't be a child forever, and as a matter of fact, he's already 13 years old. Adolescence is just around the corner, and sooner or later, Ryan will no longer be the right age to keep being a child star. But the channel doesn't seem to want to stop, even if the boy is already at the age where he should leave toys behind. And it's becoming more and more obvious that Ryan has little to no interest in his channel, and he's doing it mostly to maintain the empire that he, or rather, his parents, have built. Look closely at his expressions. He's tired, and his mind is clearly elsewhere. In fact, in an interview with the boy, they asked him if he wanted to continue making videos on his channel, and there was a long, awkward pause, followed by his mother's statement that the channel would keep going. If you pay close attention to the dialogue in that interview, you'll notice that the boy never says he wants to continue the channel. It's his mother who says it, and after a look from her, he repeats the statement. Something's not right. And if you want my opinion, something controversial is about to happen with this content creator, because at this point, only two things can happen. Either the channel collapses, or it's Ryan who collapses. What can I say? Even $29.5 million, which is roughly his net worth, is a small price to pay for selling someone's childhood. Mamfa Jr. Did you know that one of the richest people in all of Africa is a 10-year-old boy? Yep, that's right. He's so rich that he's one of the youngest billionaires in the world. He's so wealthy that even if he didn't inherit a single cent from his father, he would still have around $15 million in the bank. Yes, as crazy as it sounds, we're talking about Mamfa Jr., whose real name is Mohammed Awal Mustafa, the son of Nigerian businessman and billionaire Ismaila Mustafa, better known as Mamfa, who is something like the Nigerian version of Tony Stark. Well, the boy inherited his father's nickname. From a very young age, Mamfa Jr. has been exposed to a life of opulence, which includes private jet trips, luxury cars, and mansions. His father is an influential Nigerian businessman with investments in multiple sectors, including real estate, finance, and luxury brands. According to reports, Mamfa Jr. received his first mansion when he was just 6 years old, and his Instagram account is full of images showcasing his extravagant lifestyle. In addition to his properties, Mamfa Jr. owns several luxury cars, even though he's not old enough to drive. Let's face it, he's at an age where he should be playing with Hot Wheels, but he already has Ferraris. His father often posts photos on social media, showing the gifts he gives his son, which has drawn global attention. This has made him one of the richest kids in the world, although much of his fortune comes from his family's wealth. His father has been involved in some legal controversies, but this hasn't affected Mamfa Jr.'s fame or visibility, and he remains a prominent figure among Africa's wealthiest kids. What can I say? When you're born lucky, you're born lucky. Vladislav and Nikita Vashkatov. As we saw with Ryan Kaji's case, there are kids on YouTube who can become millionaires just because their cute videos resonate with a global audience, and this is one of those cases. We're talking about Vladislav and Nikita Vashkatov, the stars and creators of the popular YouTube channel Vlad and Nikki, which has become a global phenomenon, making them an estimated fortune of $100 million. Their channel was launched in 2018 when Vlad and Nikita were still very young. Their parents, Sergei and Victoria Vashkatov, decided to create the channel as a way to document their children's daily activities and share them with friends and family. However, what started as something casual quickly became a viral success. The videos on the channel feature Vlad and Nikita engaging in a wide variety of playful activities, from playing with toys, family adventures, and challenges, to imaginative portrayals of everyday situations. Their videos, filled with bright colors, upbeat music, and creative visual effects, are accessible to young children worldwide and don't require a specific language, which has helped their international popularity. The channel has grown exponentially since its launch, accumulating over 100 million combined subscribers across all of their channels and billions of views on YouTube. In 2020, Forbes included Vlad and Nikita in their list of the richest YouTube creators, estimating that the brothers earned up to $18.5 million from platform ads and business deals. The future looks bright for these cute Russian-American brothers. But knowing what happened with Ryan, I can't help but feel a little nervous about what the future holds for them. Now tell me, if you were a millionaire, would you give your kids every luxury possible, Leave us your opinion in the comments. Here are two options that you'll surely love.